Welcome to Adamland, an unsettling reflection of a flawed world staring straight back at us. This is a world that demands response from its audience. A world where humanity's dirty laundry is aired, leaving its subjects stripped to its underpants. Where pain is expunged through pathos and humour, rather than ridicule. Where identity is begrudgingly glimpsed through failure and ugliness. But this is not simply a middle finger salute to the bourgeois. Adam Cullen expels an unbearable pity for humankind. A reactionary observation of all its lack and loss in a rudderless journey of supposed meaningless existence. Through all that brash and abrupt application, we can find the artist's sensitivity and honesty, expressing his own grave doubts about himself and the world around him. Ashley Crawford described Adam Cullen as a whirlwind of contradictions. He seduces and repels, both on canvas and in the flesh, in equal measure. Here is a painter whose sense of line, whose dexterity with colour is undeniable, but who savages the outcome with vicious drips of uncontrolled paint. An artist who can render the female nude with sensual and erotic potential, and then fill the sinuous lines with a repugnant, rotting, toxic green.
I sort of tend to mix things together on a flat, almost filmic picture plane, so that there sort of is this concentration on the individual figures as elements. I don't really know what they are, I just know where they've come from, and there's a feeling about them when it's completed, you know, inside the boundaries of that flat, formal plane. They tend to sort of take on another lifetime or something after you take them out of their context and you put them into Adamland. They sort of, it's kind of like that expression, when hell is full, the dead will walk. So they sort of have another chance through art.
No stranger to controversy, Adam Cullen has been branded and labelled in many ways. As the art world wrestles with his exploration and provocation, the so-called bad boy of the Sydney art scene, the enfant terrible, Adam Cullen has poked and squeezed the festering wound of human despair, much to the chagrin of many of the art world and their uncomfortable reaction to his subjects and execution. But then, Cullen is a provocateur, holding both a Bachelor of Arts and a Master of Fine Arts. Distant ripples of Adamland began during his studies, when he chained a rotting pig's head to his leg and dragged it around for several weeks until the putrefied skull fell apart. He soon found further fame through the grunge movement of the early 90s, before sealing his own infamy with the illustration of a children's book in collaboration with Mark Chopper Reed, titled Hooky the Cripple. But it was the conquering of one of Australia's most conservative art prizes that truly announced Adam Cullen into the mainstream.
Adam Cullen has won this year's painting.
Having very nearly won the Archibald in 1999, Adam returned with a portrait of David Wenham in 2000, taking all before him.
The Archibald was awfully good to win. I mean, I was absolutely flattered. I didn't expect it. It didn't mean much before, but after I won it did, and as time passes it actually means less.
That Adam polarises his audiences is an understatement. While for many the Archibald Award of 2000 opened the doors to a more contemporary approach, it was also met with a visceral reaction from many of the art world's more conservative realm, spilling a good deal of outrage into the newspaper columns. Adam, quoting Bob Ellis,
"This could have been painted by a kindergarten child. Way. And was probably painted in 20 minutes. No, it only took 10.
Often portrayed as the Hunter S. Thompson of the art world, the elevated persona of Adam Cullen, the man, has been built around a collage of macho mystique. And yet, amidst the tangled wreckage of human pain ensconced within his canvases, the contemporary male in all his bravado is debunked and exposed to a hopeless reality. lost in an expired world of despair and mindless violence. Indeed, it is his study of national and gender identity, of racial intolerance, bigotry, sexism, and political and social hypocrisy that gave rise to a place called Loserville. But the inhabitants of Loserville are not his creation, but a reaction to the apparent information overload that surrounds us, a reflection of the lack and loss that construct a person's environment.
I suppose my work is directly related to my experience in everyday existence. I mean, I've always seen my work as kind of like a document of that direct and intimate exposure to information overload. So most of my work comes from that white noise of the everyday. There's a lot of people or characters that occupy my images of that kind of nature. They're sort of either freaks, outsiders, politically or socially, in some sort of incarceration, external or internal. Yeah, I mean, I'm sort of interested in ethics and wrong and right and that enormous mid-grey tone between those two extremes.
In the 2004 Cullen monograph, Scars Last Longer, Ingrid Perez wrote, "Dead cats, bloodied roos, inflatable men and headless women. Adam Cullen likes to conjure up the elements of a place called Loserville, pipe in some lounge music and depart the scene, but not for anywhere better."
I depict human forms and animals in various stages of physical and psychological trauma, or psycho-decomposition, I suppose you could call it. I mean, it's often not pretty, but often ugliness can be very, very funny too. Art making for me has always been a pathological thing. I just have to do it. I mean, art just isn't about something that you do for a job. It's actually a 24-hour-a-day preoccupation.
But this is no damaged soul finding catharsis in other people's pain. Adam Cullen enjoyed a perfectly adjusted childhood in the Sydney beachside suburb of Collaroy, surfing and drawing cartoons for the local paper. His father was a builder and teacher who studied flamenco guitar, and his mother a potter and actress. His time is split mostly between his home in the Blue Mountains and the great urban sprawl of Sydney, providing gravitas to his exploration of our urbane existence. In retreat within his studio, Adam can find peace amidst the gentle flow of the bush, in contrast to much of the angst processed onto his canvas. Much more than just a modern-day Nolan, Adam Cullen is one of the few truly Australian artists, exploring the Australian identity through many of its hidden and unopened doors.
Yeah, I mean, art is big and I'm small. So Adamland oscillates around the work that Adam does, I suppose.
I do think that the value in being is that we only are ultimately what we do leave behind. So hopefully I can leave a solid body of work that spans my entire life, signifying the time that I wasted here.